So, I just got back from seeing Thor Ragnarok. Here's the time code if you don't want to hear me rant about characters who just weren't in this movie. Because that's what I gotta get off my chest first. Okay, first of all, Jane! Jane! How do you... Look, I get that Marvel and Natalie Portman have a bad relationship, and it's partially on them, partially on her, but god damn, why did you have to just have it be dumping? There's just such a negative connotation for dumping. You could say they're on a break, you could say they decided to just be friends, just... I mean, I really hope they bring her back for Infinity War, because they have to address this better. They have to handle this better. And you know what? It would be perfect to bring her back for Infinity War, because you know what? Jane Foster held an Infinity Stone in her body. Suck on that, Peter Quill. Suck on that. Jane Foster is better than you. You know why? Because she didn't need the freaking power of friendship holding hands with her. Talk me down. Talk me down. Oh, and Sid. Yeah, in that stupid scene with Matt Damon being Loki, which, great joke, great Kevin Smith joke. It is Kevin Smith, right? The actress Sif gets a line. Actress Jane doesn't get a line, but actress Sif gets a line, maybe to compensate for the fact that Jamie Alexander isn't in this movie. And you know what? I get it. Jamie Alexander has conflicts playing whatever her name is in Blind Spot, but dialogue! Just one line of dialogue to explain where the fuck Sif is. I'm like, Okay, that's off my chest now. I enjoyed this movie, but not for the reasons I wanted to. I mean, there was some good humor in it, and it was visually impressive, and there were some good acting moments, good character moments, but, tonal whiplash, that's my main takeaway from this movie. There is so much tonal whiplash. It's like they took this buddy comedy with Thor and the Hulk and this dramatic end of days Ragnarok story and mushed them together with no consistency whatsoever. So, one moment we're having, these grim, I must go back to Asgard to stop my evil sister stuff, and then the next minute it's like, we know each other, he's a friend from work! I will maintain that Planet Hulk did not need to be in this movie. At all. It really didn't. And, I feel bad for Mark Ruffalo because he's never gonna get a solo Hulk movie at this point. It's just... I feel like that ship has sailed, but oh my god. This had all the skill of George Lucas writing during the prequels. That's how poorly I think it meshed. The funny moments were funny, but it's just... Thor goes through so much drama in this movie. Losing his father, losing his hammer, getting his hair cut, which is actually a big deal in ancient Viking culture, because short hair marked you as a slave. And then there's the whole stuff, spoilers, final battle, it's he loses an eye, and he has to blow up his home, and they're having, these solemn moments, and then fucking joke! Taika Waititi is a very funny man, and a great director. He's good. I don't think he's as good as Kenneth Branagh, but he's good, but do we have to throw in a humor when we're mourning the death of our realm? God! So, Tom Hiddleston's always... He's great, but, Thor movies are always more like Thor. Oh, and also, Loki's in this movie. Loki's totally in this movie. It's like Bette Midler in a production of Hello Dolly. Hello Dolly is a good musical on its own, but the fact that you need to remind us that Bette Midler is in it just speaks to the lack of faith people have that they won't, in audiences, that they won't go to see it unless there's the box office draw. And of course people are going to see this. It's a freaking Marvel movie. And now let's talk about Valkyrie, because, oh my god, Valkyrie. Like, a lot of the hangups I have with Valkyrie mainly had to do with how she was marketed. Everyone's like, oh, she's Thor's new love interest. And yeah, Thor needs somebody who's, like, on his level as opposed to Jane. Jane was totally on his level. I mean, not height-wise, she's tiny. But, like, if he was the magic, she was the science. They balanced each other out. She was the one who taught him what it was to be human. And look, I'm glad Valkyrie did not turn out to be anybody's love interest, because, you know what, she's a good character, and I would like to see more of her. I would love to see a movie that's just her and, like, Gamora and Nebula and Black Widow and just all of them running around space having adventures. That would be awesome. And, I mean, look, it looks good. There's some good music in there. The production design is fabulous. I think this is the best Asgard's ever looked, because it was a little too fake looking in the first one, and then in the second one, it felt a little blah, like there wasn't enough gold. This had some great visual aesthetics, and, you know, Cate Blanchett was very good as Hela. I think she sidesteps the trap that most Marvel villains fall into of being boring. I mean, they still didn't give her very much in terms of motivation, but they at least amped her up as a threat. Like, she delivered. It wasn't just, you know, some asshole in a suit going after money. There was a more personal element to it. But, yeah, I don't think this movie is as good as the critics are making it out to be, and I think it could have been a lot better. Like, the tonal dissonance is way too much for me, and it's also just, I feel like it's a downgrade for Thor's character, because what we've seen of Thor is him growing from a spoiled young man into someone who could actually be a king, but chooses not to be because that's not what matters. I mean, I think they're gonna address a similar sort of story with T'Challa in Black Panther, the merits of being a good man versus a great king. But, yeah, every time he makes a stupid, childish quip, I feel like we're taking a step back from the progress that he's made from Thor 1 and Thor 2. Which is really disappointing, because he's my favorite Avenger, and, you know what, I hope that Marvel proves me wrong. I hope that the Russo brothers handle him well in Infinity War, and that we will get some closure and some better character growth, because, I mean, there were moments, there were hints of something good, but not really enough. And that's all I have to say about that.